It's my great pleasure to welcome you along to our 2014 Economic and Political Overview. This is the first of 8 EPOs that we will be delivering around Australia over the next 6 weeks. It's therefore appropriate, I guess, that we're having it here in Perth, the biggest, and accordingly I would hope, with the questions and the quality of the people that we've invited to speak on the various topics, will clearly demonstrate that we've made a very wise choice, as always, in coming to Perth. So thank you for supporting us. We very much value the continuing support of our membership base here in Western Australia. We very much value the fact that our membership base are always prepared to provide ideas to CEDA, so that our reason for being, that is putting out independent, thought-provoking research and holding events of this nature, can help to inform those that are charged with the responsibility of developing good public policy. And CEDA will always champion that. I would like to acknowledge, of course, that we meet today on Aboriginal land, and in the spirit of reconciliation, pay my respects to elders past and present. I would also like to acknowledge some of our VIPs that are with us today. The Treasurer will be here. We're guaranteed that the Treasurer is going to be here, and Minister for Transport, but I do welcome him in absentia for the moment. Could I also welcome Mike Smith, Irina Catalini, Peter Kennedy and Dr Anne Tiernan, each of whom will be presenting during the course of our EPO. Now, the document, of course, you've got it. I'm going to refer to that in a moment. But I'd also like to acknowledge the fact that as a membership organisation, we could not do this without the continuing support of our members. And in that respect, I must acknowledge and thank most sincerely Perth Airport Proprietary Limited, Empire Limited and RSM Bird Cameron, who are the principal supporters of today's activity. I'd like to, without saying that the others are not significant, but I'd certainly like to make mention of Perth Airport Proprietary Limited. This is the 10th year that they have sponsored this event, the 10th year, and we're very much grateful, Brad, to your organisation for that continuing support. Thank you so much. Some 28 companies have also taken corporate tables here today, and as I say, we're delighted with your continuing support. Now, we are a very modern organisation, 52 years young, and whilst we would normally ask you to turn your mobile phones to silent, indeed, we're not going to, at least off I should say, we're going to ask you to just turn them to silent because we tweet. And the address for tweeting is there. I've been tweeting all morning, so my staff tell me. And because I look around a number of people that know what that actually means in the room, there is the address, and we would very much value people having that opportunity to make comment on what our guest speakers have to say. Media certainly will be in attendance, and I'm delighted to be able to also say that this event was sold out some time ago, and we took a decision that we would also make this available as a webcast, and so it's going nationally around Australia, and other media are also covering it. So Perth, this is again your chance to shine, and CEDA putting on the very first of our EPO series here in Western Australia, I think again is significant in terms of the very real and important place that Western Australia plays in Australia's economic development. Now, I did mention the document, and let me give it a bit of a flog here, okay? We think that this is pretty good. We think this is pretty good because the chief economist from the ANZ, we asked him to look into his crystal ball and come up with a few ideas, and some of those have already happened. So, big tick, Mike, I have to say, for your economist, you know, you're on the right track. On the political side, again, we asked Sabra Lane to make a few comments about what she thought would happen in politics. Now, I could probably stand up here for about the next 2 hours and tell you what I think, but nobody really cares anymore from a recovering politician. But Sabra Lane is somebody that really knows the scene, and she has suggested a few things in this document, some of which are taking place at the moment. And of course, our other contributors in that document have made commentary about the nature of the Federation, doing business in Australia, Australia, and red tape and what needs to be done to try and improve what are clearly impediments to business. So it is a good read. I expect you to take it home. I expect you to read it by this afternoon. The quiz will be sent to you. We've got your mailing addresses, and we hope you're going to respond to telling us how terrific it is, but we really would like to hear from you. It is a great document, but it's only part of what CEDA does. It's only part of the research that we do. Let me simply conclude these comments by saying that the other day in the office, we went back to 1984 and pulled out the EPO document, and one of my staff actually was the person that typed it on a typewriter. Does anybody here remember what a typewriter is? Anyway, she did it. And the document looked nothing like this, but it was remarkable, the coincidence of events from what we were putting out in 1984 to now. There had been a change in government. There had been something of an economic crisis that had been, unemployment was trending up, there were some questions around inflation. The issues of great moment were around immigration, and 30 years later, guess what? We're back to the same spot. Isn't that amazing? Well, there you go. That's CEDA for you, but at least we've got some great and fresh views on the way of the world, and they will be delivered to you during the course of this morning and this afternoon. My final duty then is to simply introduce and welcome our chairs for today's proceedings. Brad Getches will be chairing this morning. Brad is the Chief Executive Officer of Perth Airport Proprietary Limited. He previously had been with the Cairns Port Authority, and I think there's a little more detail on his background in the handout that's on the table. Russell Baskerville will come to the podium later as the chair, and Russell is an experienced business professional, worked in IT for over 15 years. He was telling me how well things are going at the moment for his company here in Western Australia. That's always good to know. And he will take the responsibilities here in the chair after lunch. But without any further ado, would you please welcome Brad to chair this morning's session. Thanks, Brad.